Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third round of KCG. I'm your host again, after I had to sit a bit off on the sidelines last week. But we had the great Robert Wiesenmüller as a replacement, and it was a lot of fun doing this with him, to be fair. And yeah, stream is a bit late. I had a lot of stuff to do, so I didn't really manage to get it ready on time, but I hope that's no issue. But yeah, round 3 of the KCG season 3 on Spa. Very iconic track, I think everybody knows Spa. So, yeah, what's there to say? We've got 9 races today. It seems like maybe someone will be joining a bit later. Got, I think, 2 people who are very short on time. Who might make it, but who might also not, sadly. And one of them is yet again Yuval Rosen. He might not be able to join today again, which would be a real bummer because he's still in the championship fight so far. But with another 2 rounds missing, this could be hard for him to get back up. But anyway, let's talk about the drivers we currently have on the grid. Let's start with the one topping the timetable at the moment in qualifying. Sven Mackenberg, I think he was pretty successful. Got both wins last week at Hockenheim in a very tight fight against his brother, who's currently in second, Marvin Mackenberg. He's obviously had those great battles in Imola, nabbed 1 win and 1 second place there and 2 second places in Hockenheim. And those 2 are again pretty close to each other, with around 1.5 tenths between them. And then a bigger gap to Radoslav Piatkowski, also known as Feldhardt, currently in third with quite a big gap to the Mackenbergs, but you also have to consider the track length. We've got 2 minutes 15. It's also the shortest race on the calendar lap-wise, with only 10 laps, only 10 laps driven. To accommodate the 20 minutes we race. Therefore, still 8 tenths, it's not too bad. But obviously quite off the pace compared to Sven and Marvin. But so far he's in a great position. He's third in the championship with great consistency. 2 4th places, 1 3rd and 1 5th place so far. So equals out on 4th position. But in the standings, he obviously also profited by Yuval Rosen not being able to race, so still sits on 43 points. So we'll go through the standings in a minute after qualifying in the warm-up. And on 4th position in qualifying, we've got Roku CB, joined the season last week, basically, at Hockenheim. And also had quite successful runnings in itself, just a bit of unfortunate stuff happening. As we also see him crossing the limit a bit. But in qualifying, that's no issue. Get to 6th places in Hockenheim, so 2 times 8 points, 16 points. Which means he is 9th in the standings currently, but obviously he also missed the first round, so that has nothing to say, and as you can see, 4th currently on pace. Behind him we have someone who really surprised us, and he's also starting driving now, which is quite cool. Mateusz Friedrich. He really showed himself at Hockenheim. In Imola he was just a bit, let's say, laid back. Just basically in Hockenheim he also just waited for something to happen, but this is a very good way to race usually, especially if it's that action packed in those cars. Basically anything can happen. I think Sven is on the fly, they're just getting a little bit of a tow there. But yeah, he really made a surprise when he accommodated 2 4th place finishes in Hockenheim just by smart driving, and also obviously having the pace to be there, but also just not getting too engaged into fights. He had some pretty cool fights, especially at the end with Radoslav Kwiatkowski. But still, it was a very good performance. So definitely someone you need to keep an eye on. Then move on to Boldizar Veseginoj. I hope I pronounced it correct this time. Currently 5th in the standings, 40 points. Yeah, in Imola he had a very decent running. I mean, 2 third places on 2 podium positions for that matter. Hockenheim just didn't really go his way, was pretty unfortunate. Or better said, he did some mistakes that really cost him a lot of points. Only 8th and 7th in those races. But let's see, Spa shouldn't have those issue zones, let's say. Like Hockenheim had a lot of acceleration zones out of slower speeds, which are quite tricky in those cars as the rear axle tends to lose grip. But Spa really only has 2 zone or acceleration zones that are pretty slow, which is La Source, which still should be pretty easy as it's downhill and it really feels grippy at that point, and bus stop, which will be tricky, but I think drivers can manage this. So Spa could really be a track where you see other names on top. Then we've got Henrik Andreasen, same as Rokus CB. He joined KCG Season 3 last race, or last week. Had a better start into the season. For that matter, he started, I think, 2nd low. Gabriel Bingham in itself, no, it's not too late to join. Just, I mean, 5 minutes could be a bit fast, but if you sign up very quickly in registration, you might just be able to do it. So just head over to the Discord in the description. Registration Season 3 or guest start Season 3, depending on what you want to do. Just sign up in the form, you should do it. And then I can give you the role so you can see the password. And yeah, Henrik Andreasen, obviously a known name in the KCG community. Had a better start into Season 3 with 1/5 and then 3rd place finish in Hockenheim. And he really used those 2 races to gain positions over time. Like, he didn't try to get positions too fast and then do a mistake or something. He just made his progress across both races, which is also very legitimate, as the grid for the 2nd race will be the finishing order of the 1st race. And yeah, then he also jumped 2 positions. So next up we've got Florian Arendt, and he also had some pretty decent runnings. Meanwhile, I have to wait. Alright. I've got to manage something. Yeah, you join just by registering in CS3. I'll try to continue on this. Yeah, Florian Arendt also had some decent races, did some mistakes. He had very decent runnings, just yeah, couldn't hold it together for the in the long term, let's say, and therefore always dropped a few places. Imola started off quite well, I think. Race 1, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was a collision with Marcel Löcken. It was a racing incident, but still cost him valuable time and couldn't make up for it. So that was a 9th place finish, but the next race was the 6th place finish. And then at Hockenheim he had a 7th place finish and the other collision with again Marcel Löcken. Says it's not found. Wait a second. I think he won't make it in time. 1:30 on the clock. So yeah, he had a collision which destroyed his suspension geometry and he had to pit to repair, so he also lost a lot of ground and was a 10th place finish in the end, still a point. And then also again on board, Rui Carvalho. He was off the pace in both weekends, but still very, very cool to see him around. He also made some points just by continue racing and profiting of others' mistakes. And I think so far he was one that found pace during the weekend, and also, as said earlier in the season, he is someone who really has pace and just very car dependent, I think. And maybe he can get to grips with the car during the season or later in the season. Alright, so qualifying is over. Marvin Mackenberg actually got pole over Sven Mackenberg, so he improved his time. Less than a tenth between those two. Then it's Rocco's debut, accompanied by Radoslav Piatkowski in the second row. Henrik Andreasen made it up into 5th. Mateusz Friedrich will start basically behind his Polish company in 6th. Then we've got Bolisar Verzeginosh in 7th, Florian Arendt and Rui Carvalho drawn on the grid. And yeah. 5 minutes one up. That now means we will take a look at the standings. So we've got Marvin Mackenberg on 79 points in front of Sven Mackenberg, who made up a lot of ground last week, now on 68 points. And I think those two can be really close together at the end in the championship. Then we've got Radoslav Piatkowski, as said earlier. Consistency is key. And he's on 49 points in front of Yuval Rosen on 43 points, who sadly misses out this race as well. Then it's Bolisar Verzeginosh, who will probably overtake Yuval Rosen today, as he will probably make quite a good amount of points today. Then Mateusz Friedrich, who also sits on 34 points respectively, also has a pretty decent shot, at least at the podium. It's only 15 points to Radoslav Piatkowski, and last week he showed what he can do in this car. So let's see how this develops. Henrik Andreasen a bit off the points, but obviously due to missing the first race, and he had decent pace, and he's also starting 5th in this race. Same goes for 9th place Vox TB, who starts 4th. So both of them will probably make up a lot of ground during the season. And Florian Arendt might also be able to just catch up a bit if he can get the car under control while accelerating. It was his big issue, same for Frank van Rooyen before he jumped out. He kind of had the same issue with the car, something a lot of people struggle with. Vox-TB also had the struggles with it. So yeah, there's still a lot of opportunities. We still got those 2 races left, and then another 6 races across 3 race days. The next race day will be in 2 weeks at the Hungaroring. Next week obviously being the ranked stuff, which would interfere, but luckily I got some info before that I should not place a race or hold a race on this day. So next week you can all drive the ranked championship. I will probably do as well. I will have a few more words later, I think about it. But for now, I was practicing start a bit. See this also running. I also have to post the live stream. So yeah. The other two tracks, we visit Assen in the 5th round. So something pretty new and something we haven't raced in KCG so far. And then another 2 weeks after this, we've got the finale at the Red Bull Ring, which is also the longest in lap turns with 50 laps. It's the normal GP course. So this might also be very action-packed as we drive fixed setups in those cars, and slipstream is very effective. So yeah, a lot of opportunities still left. So yeah, basically still a lot left to do in this season. Obviously you can join at any point during this season, no matter as a guest starter or not. And I want to see if track map works. It seems like it. Doesn't seem like it. Does it work? Yeah, there we have it. So it works. And yeah, now just waiting for the race to begin. 35 seconds left in warm-up. And again, even though we only have 9 drivers this time, so not the 10, it still promises to be very action-packed, I think. Especially at Spa in those cars. Spa's pretty wide when you drive those F3 cars, as they are pretty small. Which will also be the case in Hungaroring. Usually Hungaroring is a pretty narrow track, but in those cars you really have the space to fight with. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it, to see those cars there. And Spa obviously being one of the longest tracks with very long straights. Yeah, definitely has a lot of opportunities for slipstream and basically slingshotting. And yeah, now we see the cars getting onto the grid. And just checking if everything is alright. Seems like it. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. Got only one car missing on the grid currently, Will Carvalho. Maybe tweaking something. There he is. Let's focus on the drivers in front for now. Yeah, we've got 5 lights. And we go racing in Spa. Now, the Mackenbergs seem to have had a very good getaway. I mean, the others just pretty equally. And now Sven and Marvin obviously leaving each other a lot of space, but Marvin Mackenberg can keep in front. If you look back, it's very tight in the back. George Friedrich having a bit of overlap on Henrik Andreasen. And they go side by side through Eau Rouge, and it definitely is possible in those cars. So these really allow for those kind of things. But now you can see the slipstreaming. Friedrich in the slipstream of Andreasen, and Andreasen now swerving. So Nash has the slipstream, and you can see how much Rui Carvalho is dragged into the fight. And at the front, Sven Mackenberg and Marvin Mackenberg side by side, Rocks to be watching from behind. And they go side by side through Malmedy. Now down into the hairpin. Marvin Mackenberg on front. You can go the long way around though. Sven Mackenberg still holding on. Now on the inside for No Name. And now Rocks DB is attacking Marvin Mackenberg. Is alongside. It seems like he drops out. And now Florian Arendt gets past Rocks DB on the outside. Great move there. And Rocks DB really just driving careful, which is also pretty important, obviously. And it's Radoslav Piatkowski in 3rd. So he also really profited in that starting phase. And everyone seems to have made it through so far. Only Oliver Siginosh losing a few positions, it seems like. And now the big slipstreaming begins. Marvin Mackenberg now on the inside with the slingshot on Sven. flat out corner, obviously. And yeah, he is definitely in front. And they go 3 wide. 3 wide. Florian Armin on the outside, VoxCB on the inside. Florian Armin going wide. A bit of contact between Feldhardt and VoxCB. Bit of contact there, but shouldn't be a big problem. Now this time, it seems like VoxCB had gained some places due to this. Henrik Andreasen also joins the fight. Friedrich doesn't, or is pretty close behind as well. So now we've got Marvin Mackenberg in front of Sven. Little gap to Radoslav Kwiatkowski and VoxCB. But now again, slipstreaming game. Friedrich also wide on the tail of Henrik Andreasen. VoxCB goes for it. Sven Mackenberg now also pulls out. Now VoxCB not with enough overlap. And Sven Mackenberg, great move by him, up down the outside and then just parking it on the apex. I think in the back there are no position changes. Henrik Andreasen getting a bit closer to Florian Armin now. But most people playing the safe way. So it really fluctuates a lot. Cars getting close to each other, then gaps appearing just to be close again. And it seems like they always have another driver to fight with. So now Florian Armin right behind VoxCB again, who lost a bit of ground to Feldhardt, not a lot though. It's still very close. Alright, Marvin Mackenberg now again on the inside of Sven. I think this way we've got the best overview. And already passed. Feldhardt now also trying to have a look. Sven Mackenberg still keeping it on the inside. VoxCB sending it down the inside, making a bit of contact there. Again, contact out of bus stop. And look at it, this is 3 wide between Feldhardt, VoxCB and Sven Mackenberg. And behind them it's also at least nearly 2 wide between Friedrich and Andreasen. So I won't switch on compared to next class. And Feldhardt actually got past Sven Mackenberg there, and now Sven Mackenberg is under pressure from VoxCB. Side by side into Rouge. Florian Armin watching from behind. He has more speed. Can he profit it? Now bump drafting with Sven Mackenberg. Bump drafting his way past VoxCB. Does it work? And he's in front. So Florian Armin actually used the bump draft with Sven Mackenberg to get them both in front. And behind them it's also 2 wide through my middle. Through less comms, I'm sorry. Between Friedrich and Nosh. And Nosh gains the place now in 7th. The Mackenbergs, yeah, they are related, they are brothers. So, yeah. Feldhardt now getting close to Marvin Mackenberg. Is he able to get away with a victory this time? Would be a huge thing for him, I guess. And Florian Armin also keeping close with Sven Mackenberg, VoxCB, having a bit of a gap. And Henrik Andreasen right on his tail. So I think it really is what I said before. Henrik Andreasen and Boldizar Zeginosh going through the gravel. Yeah, at the exit from Stavilo. And at the front it's 2 wide. Radoslav Kwiatkowski on the outside. On Marvin Mackenberg. Can he get through more speed? Through Blanchimont? No, he can't for now. But now Sven Mackenberg is having a look down the inside. Brakes a bit later. A bit of contact unsettles the car. Here a bit of screeching and cars going sideways out of the exit. And VoxCB made it past Florian Armin in yeah, let's say a bit of chaos. So Marvin Mackenberg now back into the lead in front of Feldert, in front of Sven Mackenberg. But this is far from the end result. Still got 7 laps to go. But Marvin Mackenberg was able to get a bit of a cushion between him and Feldert, which will obviously affect the slipstream, and getting out of slipstream is very important if you want to keep a position. But now Walker's CB using the slipstream from both cars in front to get at least alongside Sven Mackenberg, but doesn't quite make it alongside. So now has to stay behind for less comes, but he gets a better exit out of the second turn. Takes more speed. And now into Bruxelles, he's on the inside, just doesn't have enough overlap behind them. It's also very close. Voldisaver Seginosh against Mateusz Friedrich and Henrik Andreasen. And Henrik Andreasen lost it on the exit of Bruxelles. Henrik Andreasen spun out too early on the power. But at least he can continue. But Friedrich right on the diffuser of Voldisaver Seginosh. But can't get close enough to do a maneuver into campus. Also struggling a bit with grip. But he's still in slipstream range. Let's look at the front again. So they now go up through Blanchimont. Now basically. Henrik Andreasen is shown with 100% damage. Doesn't seem like it. And Florian Auen very close to Roxy. Roxy on the inside keeps Florian Auen pinned on the outside. So no opportunity there for Florian. But Roxy goes wide out of bus stop. But still Florian Auen just couldn't get the exit good enough to have more speed. But Roxy also has a bit of a gap to Sven Mackenberg, which also will lead to less slipstream. Meanwhile, Radoslav Kwiatkowski closed the gap to Marvin Mackenberg. So he will have some more slipstream this lap. Maybe not enough to get past the German, but close enough to get close to him and also to avoid an attack from center. And Marvin Mackenberg aggressively to the inside. Feldert to the outside, Sven Mackenberg watching from behind. And Radoslav Kwiatkowski now parks it on the inside. Out of less comms. It's the Mackenberg side by side and Feldert is in front. So Radoslav Kwiatkowski takes the lead here in Spa. Bit of contact between the Mackenbergs. Sven also got past Marvin. Roxy is still in front of Florian Auen. Meanwhile, Henrik Andreasen has parked it for this race. Hope he will start the next race though, as he can make up a lot of ground still, as you can see in this race. And Feldert also is able to pull away in the second sector, building a bit of a gap, and you can also see the different lines everybody takes. Be going a bit wider here. Sven Mackenberg going through the gravel bit. That's probably not his favorite racing line. Henrik Andreasen's suspension destroyed in turn 1, lap 1. That's very unfortunate, mate. I hope you have better luck in the second race. And now look at this side by side Rokus CB against Marvin Mackenberg. Florian Auen following Rokus CB. And Rokus CB also trying a move on Sven Mackenberg. Florian Auen again doing the bump draft game. Bit early on power. A bit early on power again, causing him to spin into the way of Marvin Mackenberg. Hopefully that has done no damage. Can happen. And Roxy now on the inside of Sven. Still side by side. Will be a drag race to Roche. Sven seems to have had the better exit. The one who really profits from this is Feldert, who currently is running away at the front with 9/10 to Sven Mackenberg, which already is a pretty low slipstream for Sven. And now Marvin Mackenberg getting closer and closer to Rokus. Having a look up the inside, but there you can see how much the slipstream really pulls the car and the bump draft for that matter. And now also the distance to Fractal is basically none. Bit of contact there. Weiser, Versinage and the following cars just can't keep up with the group in front at the moment. But let's wait for what happens at the front. So Mackenberg taking a bit of a wider in general. The Mackenberg seemed to go a bit wider through Puhon. But still, with the same car you can take so many different lines, which is also a reason why Formula 3 cars are pretty great. And now Marvin Mackenberg diving down the inside of Rokus CB into Stavelo. But Rokus CB now counters. Down the inside. And now up Blanchimont with more speed, probably. But now Marvin Mackenberg in the slipstream, same as his brother Sven Mackenberg, now to the inside of Radoslav Kwiatkowski. Will take the lead, but can Radoslav Kwiatkowski counter? Florian Arendt now again doing a bit of a bump draft thing with Rokus DB to get past Marvin Mackenberg, and this time seems to have worked. Feldhardt couldn't get his position back, but it's still 4 laps to go from now. And now he dives down the inside, now just having a look there. While behind them, Marvin looking down the inside of Florian Arendt. But the leading pair of Sven Mackenberg and Radoslav Kwiatkowski was able to pull a gap of more than a second to Rokus CB, which will leave Rokus without or barely without any slipstream. And now Radoslav Kwiatkowski in the slipstream of Sven Mackenberg. Will he try to do a move up the inside, or will he just wait until the end of the race? He waits. Marvin Mackenberg also having a quick look, but not going for it. Just too far away. Taking a lot of curb on the inside. But what a race it is so far. Just enjoy the sound of racing a bit. Let's go on board with Marvin Mackenberg, who also is pretty close to Florian Arendt now. Alright, now, again, slipstream duel, but Feldhardt just seems to want to pull a gap to the cars behind, which is pretty smart, as so far, if he just tries to launch an attack after an attack, they will be re-overtaken. So it's really clever to just try it on the last lap, while those three are battling hard. Now, oh, and Florian Arendt, too early on the power, spins out. But manages to keep it straight and not lose too much time. Maybe he still can get closer. But that's a very intelligent strategy by Radoslav Kwiatkowski there, as he just tries to pull a gap to Rokus DB behind to launch an attack on Sven Mackenberg in the ending stages of the race. There's still 3 laps to go, and that's like 6 opportunities for Sven to come back on him, as you can't do much against the slipstream, as you can see here. Mackenberg now on the outside of Rokus DB on Camel. And if those two start to fight them very hard, it's also the opportunity for Florian Arendt to close back in on him. Could be 1.5 seconds off. But Sven and Radoslav Kwiatkowski currently just running away with it. Just meeting each other a bit. And feel free to join. You can do so via the Discord. Got a small problem there, which I have to sort, I think, but you can just join there as a regular driver or as a guest starter. If you've got any questions, just ask in the chat. There are many people willingly helping you, I guess. And yeah, you can still sign up for all the other 3 race days we have. We've got Hungaroring next in 2 weeks. Then it's Assen, and then it's the finale at the Spielberg Red Bull Ring. Again, you can see Felder just bump drafting with Sven Mackenberg. And now he's having a look up the inside, but still not going for any attack. So just having a bit of a look for breaking point. Also maybe a different line. For bus stop, some people, myself included, just approach it more on the inside, especially with cars like the R8, which I'm driving a lot. It really helps if you do it more on the inside, on the entry, to use the track elevation and the camber it has to turn the car. So Mackenberg and Felder being basically one car visually on track. So close between those two. And Marvin Mackenberg is also pulling a gap on Rosen B there. Oh, and now Feldhardt on the inside, but still just having a look. Not attacking in somewhere that will use some time. Just having a look. Waiting for Sven to make a mistake. It's 1.5 laps to go. We'll probably wait for the last lap. And probably for the one at Blanchimont into bus stop. Xibina also 1 second behind. Seems to have lost some time again. But still 5th place finish would be quite good for him, I guess. Started, I think, 8th on the grid. Be a very good recovery and also some great fights along the way. Feldhardt and Sven Mackenberg, neck and neck. Sven probably also knows what Feldhardt is up to. I mean, after all, he's also a pro in sim racing. But let's see what both of them will do in the last lap, as this will be the deciding point of the race. And hello Marco Fossler, welcome to the stream. Feldhardt again, just having a look, but not doing too much. 2.5 seconds to Marvin. Now they are beginning the last lap of the race. Rosen B getting a bit closer to Marvin Mackenberg, but if he doesn't do anything special, he probably won't be close enough to get slipstream. And now Feldhardt being really aggressive compared to the previous laps. So what will he do now? Just follows Sven through Rouge, doing the downshift pretty early. Now will he do something into less comms? Probably not. Still having a look, getting the overlap, just using the speed of the slipstream. Backing out a bit earlier. Just waiting for something to happen, but not actively doing something. Now, also very important, what will Sven do? See the different lines. Oh, and Radoslav Kwiatkowski hitting the curb with the underbody of his car. Cost him a bit of time, but still a lot of track to make up for it for the one through Blanchimont. You can see the different lines again. nearly 4/10 between those two. And now getting the good exit to Stavilo is crucial. Both doing a great job there. And now can he get close enough? Is the slipstream enough for Radoslav Kwiatkowski to close in? He's closing in very fast. Obviously having the slingshot. Now has to go the long way around. Now bus stop. Diving down the inside. Not taking too much risk. You don't want to take each other out here, obviously. And Sven Mackenberg keeps it in front. Sven Mackenberg wins race 1 at the Spa circuit in front of Radoslav Kwiatkowski in a so close battle. Marvin Mackenberg finishes the podium in 3rd. Boxeby in 4th, Florian Arendt crossing the line in 5th. Boldisaver Siginorz coming in a lonely 6th place, but still good result for him. Mateusz Friedrich had the pace at the start, just fell off a bit during the race. In 7th, Yuri Carvalho crossing the line 8th, and Henrik Andreasen not finishing the race sadly, but still another race to go. What a race this was, man. Just typing in the results quickly. Andreasen still with the DNF not scoring points. Alright, now we have to load back in. And the championship also is very close now again. Just have to check. And then I'll go through the chat. It's just a lot to do right now. Just a second. Also have to get back onto the server. I think I have to wait anyway. Yeah, I have to wait a bit. Wrong one. I really need to hook up my displaying program on my display docs document with the one I use to basically log in the standings. But that's something for the next season, or maybe later during this season. Can I join now? Or is it still... Yeah. There we go. Just put it like this, is really a lot of work to put in the standings. Cause I have to type them like 2 times. But now I think I've got it. So if you take a look at the standings now, it should everything be updated. So we've got Marvin Mackenberg and Sven Mackenberg being separated by 1 point. 94 and 93. Radoslav Kwiatkowski made a bit of ground on 67. Still big gap to the Mackenbergs themselves, but also a good gap to Weiß, Yuval, Rosen and Mateusz Friedrich, who sit on 48, 43 and 40 points respectively. And P3 also gains you a few VRP. Then we've got WokesDB, who made up a lot of points during this race. 12 points, putting his head up to 28. Florian Arendt also scoring big this time, 10 points for him, 27. And Henrik Andreasen not scoring any points, unfortunately, but this might change in the next race. And then Marcel Löcken, who isn't here today, but will probably also get overtaken by Rui Carvalho at least. Rui Carvalho will be even with him after those races. So just trying to find something. Okay. Got 1 minute 30. Now it's time to rechat. For us, only 9 drivers this season. Yeah, we've got 12 drivers. All right, we are big in this. Yeah, let's say number of drivers is quite small this season, but yeah. It also is my fault, to be completely honest. I mean, though I wouldn't have been able to do KCG season during my downtime. But yeah, during the long off period of KCG at the beginning of 2022, obviously due to the stuff that happened on Race Room, some people quit Race Room entirely and others just don't really get back to it. So yeah, and in general, participation drops over time of nothing happening. And yeah, that's basically the reason. But nevertheless, the racing, in my opinion at least, is like brilliant. I couldn't have hoped for anything better to happen with such a small grid, like we've seen just in race a few minutes ago. It's just incredible, and I'm very thankful for everyone who joins the race and supports the series just by racing, and I hope we can expand on this. I hope Racing can keep on and give us time to have great races. And yeah, pure tactics this race, obviously. I mean, it's just, as Feldhard has shown, it's really just about timing your attacks at the right time. And now we are on the grid for the second race. Waiting for the last cars to join. And yeah. Maybe we see a bit more contact this race, which might happen, as we've seen in Hockenheim. I mean, in Hockenheim we didn't even have something to investigate after the race, which was pretty chilly. But the thing with those F3 cars is that the hitbox is kind of off, which is a bit weird and also a bit annoying. But I think the other qualities of the car just make up for it. And now we've got Radoslav Jatkowski on the front row for the first time as well. And we've got 5 lights. And we go racing in Spa once again. A lot of rear spin in the background by some cars. And Marvin Mackenberg seems to have had a better launch than Mackenberg with a great start. Radoslav Jatkowski seems to be able to keep it in second. But he's side by side with Marvin Mackenberg now. Mackenberg actually is a bit in front. Further back it's less chaos than before, I would say. Rui Carvalho and Henrik Andreasen fighting there. The background going nearly side by side. And now WokesDB trying to find a gap on Radoslav Jatkowski. Obviously the opening phase is just to sort out the field a bit. As you can see, multiple cars going side by side. Contact between Roxy and Radoslav Piatkowski. Bolsavezi Nosh using this because Florian Armin was a bit blocked by the Polish. And yeah, just went straight past. Now on the outside, Florian Armin on the inside. And Florian Armin around the outside, more speed. Gets past once again. Now also lost time to Radoslav Piatkowski in front. Let's see. Maybe drivers now realize a bit of what to do and what to expect. Don't think many of them have raced F3 here so far. Few drivers going through the gravel, Yuval also having a bit of slide. And Andreas moving up into 8th due to this. And now the slipstreaming begins once again. Mackenberg closing in on Sven. Now will they work together to get a gap to Roxy B, and will Feldhardt and Rokus work together? Now Mackenberg is going side by side. And Feldhardt... Mackenberg having a look on the inside. Feldhardt just keeping it behind at the moment. Roxy B defending, and now Feldhardt with a better exit. Side by side. No incidents reported yet. And yeah, there's the contact just because of the hitboxes. It's pretty weird. But this is something we know as stewards. And also have a look at the stewards. As stewards. As obviously those collisions just happen because you can't really see or know where the car ends if you don't have any feedback. And now the Mackenberg side by side. Sven Mackenberg on the inside, Marvin Mackenberg on the outside. Keeping it closer. Marvin Mackenberg just touched the ground a bit with the car. I mean, those cars are pretty low. And we've got something. Florian Armin went off track, it seems like. And Friedrich spun out into the wall. Not sure what happened, if it was contact or not. Or maybe just people avoiding each other or getting too early on the power. And now the leading group super close to each other once again. 4 cars in like half a second. Also 4 different colors. Now again, all the different lines. Now does it help Bolsar Veselinash and Florian Armin to close in on them? It's the big question for them. Now the slipstream train, Florian Armin sailing past Hungarian. Yeah. And now let's concentrate on the front. Feldhardt to the outside. Roxy B and Marvin Mackenberg on the inside. Side by side in 2 rows. Contact between the Mackenbergs, but nothing too serious. Bit more contact between basically all 4 of them. Oh, and Bolsar Veselina seems to have overtaken Florian Armin there and just went a bit off track. Super close between those 4. It's still kind of side by side. Radoslav Piatkowski using the slipstream to get past Marvin Mackenberg. Bit of contact through Rouge. The one profiting at the moment is Sven Mackenberg. Can just run away with it a bit at least. Can't get really far off them, but he at least can. Yeah. Oh, and Roxy B goes wide, goes straight on the chicane. And obviously gives back the place. No problem there. Henrik Andreas and Rui Carvalho, meanwhile, also having a pretty nice fight. Bit of contact there. Now side by side into Bruxelles. Florian Arment also trying his best to get past Bolisa Versiginosh. Both going really wide there. Front gaps have built up a bit. Sven Mackenberg in front of Radoslav Piatkowski in front of Marvin Mackenberg, and looks to be basically the running order of the first race currently. Now this time Bolisa Versiginosh had a bit of a bad exit and entry into Stavela. From now two groups have formed, Sven Mackenberg against Radoslav Piatkowski, who will do the same thing again, I guess. Morgestevi against Marvin Mackenberg. Florian Arment against Bolisa Versiginosh. And behind them, Rui Carvalho and Henrik Andreasen. So we've got 4 pairings of 2. Now Florian Arment can get the power down, and he does. Now in front of Bolisa Versiginosh, but he still, due to the slipstream, is on the inside. Now on to, or up to Osh. Very close between those two, side by side even. Now even though it's very easy to get through Osh in those cars, it's still pretty important for the camel straight, as the less you steer and the less downforce you basically use, the more speed you can get onto the camel straight. Now Florian out on the inside. Into Les Combs, on the curb, on the inside. Still hangs onto it. Bit of contact there, nothing too serious. And Bolisa Versiginosh keeps it in front for now. This will go on a further 6 laps, I suppose. Both being pretty equal on pace, as it seems. But also losing time to the leading group. 3 seconds now, the gap. Also seems like Henrik Andreasen got past Rui Carvalho. And also was able to build a gap, 1.3 seconds. It was a very decent fight those two had. And that's what I meant when I said Rui Carvalho will probably find pace during the season. So let's see where he ends up at the end. Radoslav Piatkowski playing the same game once again now, not really. On the outside now. Doesn't go for a late break, rather goes for the switchback. Oh, and into the back of Sven Mackenberg. Also cost them time to Marvin Mackenberg, ultimately. Who's now less than half a second behind them. Looks to be having a bit of a wheel slip out of La Source. Now what will they do on camera straight? It's the close fight we have at the moment. Now does Feldhardt have a look up the inside? No, he doesn't. Florian Arment trying to get closer and closer to Bolisa Versiginosh to try another time, I suppose. He's making up ground, doing the slipstream phases. Now Marvin Mackenberg getting very close to the cars in front. Currently also Sven Mackenberg would take the lead in the championship everything is set and sound. As it's still more than 5 laps to go. Flowing out, getting closer and closer. Front. Does Radoslav Petkowski go for an attack? Has a bit of a look, but doesn't really go for the attack. Again, tries the switchback, but Sven Mackenberg with a great exit. And then flowing out still is getting closer and closer. XCB also a bit out of contention for the podium at the moment, depending on how much these three will lose in the fight. Oh, and now Marvin Mackenberg using the way better exit out of Arouge. But you just see how much the slipstream affects the top speed of those cars. He pulled out of the slipstream with a slingshot and still he just couldn't get anywhere close enough to make a move on Radoslav Petkowski due to the slipstream effect Radoslav had on Sven Mackenberg. But even while fighting, I mean obviously they have the slipstream on their side, but they gain a lot of time to Rokas at the moment and to the whole field basically. Exit out of Stavlo. This will be very important. I think Marvin Mackenberg wants to get past Feldhardt to be in the position Feldhardt was in the last racing, to make a move on his brother Sven, who's still in the lead for this race. But slipstream works for and against him, basically. Maximizing the exit. Going down once again around 3/10 into bus stops. So Bolizar Vezinosh was able to pull a big enough gap basically to keep him behind. Or to keep him far away. To not be able to launch an attack into bus stop. Still 4 laps to go. I can see it's getting sucked to the car in front and just straight up bump drafting, something you usually see in GT or stock car racing. Now side by side, Fernand with the slingshot on the outside and more speed and is in front before last comms. So now he is into 5th place, loses a bit of speed going through the apex, just grounding basically. Oh, and now is he close enough? And he is alongside Bolizar Vezinosh. Or Bolizar Vezinosh is alongside Florian out launching attack. Now Florian with a long way around can carry more speed. Now it's Bolizar Vezinosh again in front. Very close between those two. Fight with a lot of respect. I think both have a lot of fun at the moment. At least I hope so. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm getting a bit into the back of Vezinosh, but waits for him. All fine there. And now Marvin Mackenberg. Which might actually work this time. He is on the outside. But Sven Mackenberg is far enough away for Radoslav Petkowski to not get a big slipstream effect. And now he's behind, but can he do a move up the inside? No, keeps it behind. Now same thing for Florian and Bolizar Vezinosh once again. Is Florian close enough to launch an attack? No, he waits. Maybe he waits for the camel straight. Where it works best for him, it seems like. Now Mackenberg alongside Feldhardt. Not anymore. The crucial thing is, can they get back into the position of Sven? Or will Sven just run away with it? Meanwhile, one lap later, same game between those two. Just really alongside each other, flowing out, going a long way around, carrying way more speed. Oh, and losing it on the exit and hard into the wall goes flowing around. Can he continue? Front wing is missing. Joins the track in a safe manner. That was really unfortunate. Just lost it on the exit, on the curbing, I think, already. Then going into roll now, obviously. No way to compete with the other cars without a front wing. That's very unfortunate for him. It was a great fight he had with Toshiba. Now it's just about getting into the... or finishing the race to get the points. And Mackenberg now again on the outside to Blanchimont. And he managed to keep enough speed to still be on the inside for a bus stop. Now can he go long way around through the left-hander? He can't, but he has a better exit and now is on the outside for La Source. Meanwhile, Sven Mackenberg just extending his lead over the two. See right here. Kwiatkowski being pinned to the inside. And Marvin Mackenberg goes past, just had a better exit. Could carry more speed through the corner by going the long way around and pinning Kwiatkowski to the inside, forcing him to basically accelerate a bit later. But now it's slipstream once again. And no slipstream for Marvin Mackenberg as his brother is just too far away. Having a look on the outside, Kwiatkowski. Can see them just throwing the cars around through less comms. These cars have a lot of downforce. Nick Andreasen seems to get closer to Nash on the closing stages during this race. Maybe he also can launch an attack to go to 5th place for an hour. Meanwhile, just carrying on with his car. Probably the best decision for now. So it's only 1.5 laps to go. Radoslav Kwiatkowski. Can he come back into 2nd position? 2 second place finishes would obviously be huge for him. Can't get close enough for now into bus stop. Bit of scratching there. Nothing serious. Does he pull out now? Yeah, to the outside, just having a look and maybe braking a bit later, or maybe trying to do a switchback to get a better one up a whoosh. Taking more curb on the inside. the last lap. Will he wait for Blanchimont or will he pull out now? He pulls out now. Will he also try to send it down the inside? Backs off a bit. I'm just waiting if there will be a mistake. Now Mateusz Friedrich and Rui Carvalho battling for P7 there. Will be the Portuguese or the Polish man? Rui Carvalho keeps it in front for now. Let's head back to the leaders and also to those two. Henrik Andreasen is closing in. Only half a second. Now can Radoslav Kwiatkowski get a big enough of a slipstream effect to get close and at least side by side with Marvin into bus stop? He's edging closer. Can really see how much more speed he is carrying. Goes to the outside. Now breaks late. Keeps Marvin Mackenberg pinned to the inside. And now has also the better exit. And Marvin Mackenberg spins. Spins on the curb at the exit of bus stop. And this allows Rokus to claim third place. And that means Sven Mackenberg wins once again in front of Radoslav Kwiatkowski. Rokus gets third place. And we also have to look at those two side by side into bus stop as well. And there is contact between those two, both spinning a bit. But Mateusz Friedrich is through. Rui Carvalho misbreaking it a bit. But also then not contending for the position. So Borisov Vezinosh was able to get 5th position in front of Henrik Andreasen. Mateusz Friedrich is at 7th place. Rui Carvalho 8th. And Florian Arndt, after a great performance, doing a mistake and now finishing 9th. But what a race. That was. Just let me update some of the stats. It's another 4 points for Rui Carvalho as well. And we've also crossed the 100 points mark in the standings. Ah, come on. Wrong one. I'll just try to update the list quickly. And this also means we've got basically the first lead change in the whole season. Radoslav Kwiatkowski making up a lot of ground once again. Also got Yuval has once again a tie with another driver. And then we have so let me check. Alright, so just get that back there and blend in the standings. We can see Sven Mackenberg took the lead in the championship, 118 to 106 to Marvin. But this can change all the time, I think. Then we've got Slav Yatkovsky once again in third on 85 points. Władysław Verzeginosh also made up a bit of ground with his 5th place finish, I think it was. So yeah, that's 58 points for him. Then we've got Mateusz Friedrich moving up a position into 5th with 46 points. Yuval Rosen and Roxy B on 43 points. Henrik Andreasen, 33 points. Florian Arendt, 29 points. And Rui Carvalho moving up into 10th, 16 points. And I think there were some situations we need to look into, but overall, just seemed like a very clean race and also a very fun race to race in. So yeah, I also didn't use the driver info thing, I just realized today. But anyways, yeah, I hope the racers had fun, I hope you had fun watching. And that's it for today basically. Next week we don't race, as there will be the ranked competition or the ranked championship. I might drive GT4. I just need to get the rating up a bit and also I need to increase my pace on setup. But yeah, that means next week we won't race. But we will race in 2 weeks at the Hungaroring, which will be the home race for Władysław Verzeginosh. So let's see what he can do there. And yeah, that's basically it. I hope you had fun. I wish you a great evening and until next time, goodbye.